From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Daniels Roofing, licensed, bonded, insured roofing contractor. 45 years of generational expertise, offering a variety of roofing systems in the North State. Composition shingles, metal, tile, fire-safe wood shingles, and spray foam roofing systems. An energy-saving cool roof, perfect for commercial flat roofs and mobile homes. With other companies, you may get a foreman or a salesman. But with Daniels Roofing, you get Daniel. Call today for your free estimate. Daniels Roofing, 3 generations working hard to protect your home and business.
Well, happy Thursday morning to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger. Thank you so much for joining me here on Weather NorCal this morning. All right, so we've got one more dry day, and it's going to be a mild day, increasing clouds, but dry. Everyone, coast, mountains, valley, everyone, will be dry today. Now, the coast is going to be looking at some low clouds, maybe some mist and some drizzle and fog along the coast here. But the showers, the snow that we've been talking about here, that will be here by tonight, and especially for your Friday morning. And an unsettled weather pattern through next week. We're going to talk about the fact that there is a lot of discrepancy between the long-range forecast models, especially once we get past the weekend. But even Saturday, there's some discrepancy, which we've got to talk about as well. All right, so before we get into all of that, let's take a look at Krueger's QuickCast. For those of you who just want to know what to expect today and tonight, here it is. All right, for your Thursday, January 30th. Let's get you out the door. First of all, this morning, you're going to be looking at just a few high clouds out there for the valley and plenty of sunshine for many of the higher elevations, but looks like maybe some clouds for places like Trinity County and, of course, maybe the North Coast as that storm system does begin to approach. And there it is. This is the area of low pressure. This right here is the subtropical moisture. This right here is the atmospheric river. All right, so we're going to talk about this atmospheric river in our deeper dive forecast, where it's going to be, and how, again, the forecast models are kind of all over the place, especially for next week. So there it is, the winds. Let's talk about that first and foremost. Not a problem today. They're picking up, though, later this afternoon for the coast, and especially out towards central Siskiyou County. So just be aware of that later this afternoon. Otherwise, the rest of us, fairly calm winds. But by tonight, tomorrow morning, as that storm system passes through, now we're seeing gusts over 20 miles per hour for the valley, east mountains, very strong winds for central Siskiyou County, and very strong winds along the coast. I don't think at this point, based on the forecast models kind of backing off on the overall intensity of the winds, most likely not seeing power outages. But certainly as you start getting into that 40, 45 mile an hour range, that could be a different story. So we'll see. All right, so there you can see here, 5 p.m. for today. There are the increasing clouds, but it's dry. The main band of rain still off to our west. Here we are, Thursday night around midnight into tomorrow morning. Main band of rain hitting the coast. Heaviest rainfall for Delaware County, no big surprises there. Still dry in the valley eastward. For tomorrow morning, now it's all pushing eastward. 6 a.m., 7, 8 a.m. Now we're seeing snow in the eastern mountains, snow in the higher elevations, around 3,000, 4,000 feet. We've got rain in the valley. By the way, if you're traveling in the mountains tomorrow morning, I need you to be aware of the fact that there will most likely be chain requirements. Possibly I-5 near Mount Shasta City, especially east of I-5, borderline. Look at there. There you can see Highway 36. There's Highway 299, looks like mainly in the form of rain, but that may change. We'll see. It's kind of borderline right there. Let's take a quick look at your ski report. 54 inches out of the summit here at Mount Shasta Ski Park. How much snow can we expect through Saturday? Well, how about this? I think the base of the ski park could see 1 to 2 feet of snow, maybe a little bit more than that at the summit of the mountain. Perfect timing, because things are looking a little slim in the snow department out there at the Mount Shasta Ski Park. They could certainly use it, and it looks like they've got it coming. All right, in the meantime, we take a look at our forecast for today. Increasing clouds, temperatures upper 50s for the valley, 40s and 50s for the higher elevations. We've got the clouds, but dry along the coast, and increasing clouds inland, mid to upper 50s. Let's talk about that 7-day forecast. Now, what you'll notice here, and you're going to notice my 7-day forecast is different from a lot of 7-day forecasts you're going to see for this area, and there's a reason for that. And we're going to get into that in the deeper dive forecast here in just a bit. But bottom line is this. Once we get into tomorrow, the storm door is open, and it's going to allow for off and on chances for rain through the weekend and most likely through next week as well. Snow levels, I've changed them, and I'm going to tell you why here. We'll get to that here in a second too, but They're down to 3,000 feet on Friday, and then they're going to go up. And you'll see that a little bit more clearly as we take a look at Mount Shasta, El Turris, and Susanville. So here it is, 4,500 feet for El Turris, up to 6,000 feet on Saturday, back down. Remember, it was supposed to be fairly high through the entire weekend. Now it looks like some colder air could be moving in Sunday and then unsettled through next week. So let's talk about all that. But before we do that, do want to remind you there's a 24-hour streaming channel. Put it on your big screen TV. If you have Roku, Fire Stick, just search for the Weather NorCal app. If you don't have Roku or Amazon Fire Stick, but you have a smart TV with the YouTube app on it, you can still watch it on your smart TV. Just search for Weather NorCal. Subscribe to the Weather NorCal channel, and you can watch the 24-hour streaming channel. And you can also, when you're on YouTube, you can watch videos on demand right there on your big screen TV. You gotta love that, right? Of course, it's also available on weathernorcal.com, the free Weather NorCal app. It's available on every platform that I offer here, Weather NorCal. So check that out. Pretty cool, 24-hour streaming channel. All right, so let's talk about the winds. We do have a wind advisory at 10 o'clock tonight through 7 p.m. Friday. Could see gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Del Norte County from 10 o'clock tonight through 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. The strongest winds will be tonight, tomorrow morning, and then they should subside for Friday night. And it looks like Saturday the winds may not be quite as strong, but still a little breezy. And you'll see that here on Futurecast. 5 p.m., there are those gusty winds, right? Especially for central Siskiyou County. And there you can see along the coast, they're starting to pick up, but elsewhere not that bad. Here's Friday around midday. You see how the winds are very strong, central Siskiyou County, very strong for the valley. Eastward, winds are starting to subside, but still in that 20 to 30 mile an hour range here for the coast. Then by Saturday morning, still down to the southeast, Warner Mountains, but elsewhere the winds are going to be calmer, but still a little breezy here even for your Saturday afternoon, especially off to the east. Now let's talk about the snow. Winter weather advisory. Last night, the Weather Service decided to go ahead and issue it through parts of Siskiyou and most of Modoc County, basically until 10 o'clock Saturday morning. They've upgraded the winter weather advisory for northern Trinity County to a winter storm warning. That's until 2 p.m. on Friday. So, how much snow can we expect? Well, here's my overall projections. Now, these numbers that you see here, I'm kind of taking the different forecast models and kind of making some interpolations here. I think Mount Shasta City could possibly see cold enough, a period long enough where we could see some snow accumulate. 2 to 4 inches, not out of the question. You're seeing less in the way of activity to the east, so I'm expecting, maybe a light dusting for places like El Turris, Fall River Mills. Bernie, not out of the question, but I think you might be just a little too low for that dusting of snow, but maybe a mix. Maybe a mix out towards Shingletown too, but most likely not accumulating. Could see some accumulating snow in Chester. You're at about 4,500 feet, no doubt there. And then maybe a dusting or a mix in these areas here as well. I do not anticipate any snow for Weaverville Hayfork. There could be a brief period of time where maybe a mix, but I don't anticipate any accumulating snow there. Buckhorn Summit is something we've got to watch. The mountain passes in general is what we've got to watch here for tomorrow morning. All right, so here's the big picture. Big swirling area of low pressure. There you can see the cold front. Here you can see all this moisture. This is the atmospheric river that is heading our way, and that's going to be the source of moisture for our rain. So let's take a look at Futurecast. Let's walk you through the timing. This is what everyone's been waiting for, right? So there's the batch of rain off to our west. That's 6 p.m. today. We're seeing the clouds on the increase. Here is tonight, that is 11 p.m., just beginning to hit the coast. Most likely this isn't reaching the ground, but we may see some light activity off towards to the north and east. Then we go into tomorrow morning. There's 8 a.m., there's the rain. Now, look at this. If you look closely, that's all snow. And I got to tell you, this model has done a pretty good job, especially out towards the Mount Shasta area, showing where we are seeing that snow. Now, another thing to look at here is this. Here's Buckhorn Summit. Here's Highway 299. Looks to be fairly clear from snow, mainly just wet, but Buckhorn Summit's borderline. Here's Highway 36 West. Yeah, you could see some snow there. Pink is good, some mix. You could also be looking at snow there too. Then, of course, off to the east, you're looking at plenty of snow. So where are we seeing most of the chain requirements? What do I typically say? Mainly east of I-5, right? And places like Mount Shasta City on I-5 could see some chain requirements there as well. We'll see. Again, it's one of those stay tuned type of forecasts. Keep a close eye on those road conditions if you do need to travel in the mountains tomorrow morning. Here's midday Friday. Look at this. We're still seeing snow around Mount Shasta based on this model here, right? And there it looks like it's mainly just in the form of rain. Now, by the way, you look at all this right here, there's a potential for an isolated thunderstorm. Could hear a few rumbles of thunder there, but look how, even by midday, it's beginning to break apart. You see how the rain that we're seeing here is just turning into scattered showers? Still scattered showers through the afternoon, Friday 5 p.m. Still seeing some of that snow. Now, it's beginning to kind of break apart even towards Mount Shasta City and even down to the south, but we're seeing that bit of a break. Then the next batch of moisture is coming in from the south. Now, this looks like it may start to mix out some of that colder air, and snow levels will probably be around 3,500 to 4,500 feet, maybe closer to 4,000 to 5,000 feet. But 6 a.m. Saturday, there's the rain coming on in. Now look at Saturday morning. For the most part, we're seeing rain. You see this right here? This is the atmospheric river. The very north edge of it, drier. Of course, atmospheric river for the rest of us. Look at as we go through the day on Saturday. Here's midday. Look at that. All the rain moving down to the southeast. And we're drying things out. Still cloudy. By the afternoon on Saturday, you see how it pushes to the south, and we're dry again Saturday. So it's mainly at this point, based on this model, showing that it's going to be dry as we go through the morning hours, and especially in the afternoon. Just wet in the morning. However, if you look at the European forecast model, I'm going to say that because the European forecast model has this all wet, all green all day long. So again, there's some discrepancy in those models here, even as we go into Saturday. Sunday, though, it looks like they agree that we'll be looking at more wet weather. All right, so what do we expect here based on our in-house forecast model through Saturday? I think about a half an inch to an inch or more for places like Redding and Chico. Typically get that rain shadowing effect there, and typically you don't see as much rainfall for places like Red Bluff and Willows, typically more for Redding, and on the east side here for Chico as well. Not as much to the east as you'd expect. Where's the heaviest rainfall? You guessed it, mainly off towards Del Norte County with over 2 inches of rain. So here's the overall setup. This ridge of high pressure is not necessarily the same one that we've been dealing with for the last month, but this is the pattern we'll be dealing with here, a blocking ridge of high pressure. It's been blocking any storms from moving in. You see how this is shifting to the south? It's allowing the storm system to move in. We saw that on Futurecast. But here's the main atmospheric river right here. First batch of moisture pushing through on Friday. Then that main atmospheric river, see how it gives us some good heavy rainfall, and then it pushes to the south. This is the American forecast model we're looking at. You see how it pushes to the south? Then look at on Sunday. We see another little batch of rain as this kind of pushes down. That's going to help to push this back up, and we see more rain. But remember I was talking about snow levels dropping on Sunday. That's because this has some colder air associated with it. Look at all that snow that we're seeing in some of those higher elevations. Then that pushes to the south based on this model here. Now look at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Look at that. We are not seeing much in the way of rain or snow. But as I mentioned, if we were looking at the European forecast model, that would be a different story. It would be showing rain Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That atmospheric river would still be over us. Look where it is here on this model. It's to our south Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it all really is going to depend on what this area of low pressure does, how it interacts with that atmospheric river, but we're done with it at that point. Now, this may tap into some of that moisture on Wednesday, Thursday, and giving us maybe some more rain, some low elevation snow. But someone was asking me, how is next week's atmospheric river going to compare to, what was it, like I think it was the month of December or November? I think it was actually November. How does next week's atmospheric river compare? Well, as you can see here, we don't have any atmospheric rivers that we're dealing with here. All right, so what are the normal conditions? Yeah, that's good. All right, so we're going to be looking at that. That's good, right, as we go through next week. So here we are Friday. There is that first batch of moisture. There's that first atmospheric river coming in. Then we kind of see it still kind of pushing to the south a little bit Saturday. Then it shifts a little bit to the north, so we're still feeling the impacts of that atmospheric river on Sunday. Then this model pushes it to the south. You see that? Look where the atmospheric river is now. It's over central and southern California. We're not feeling the impacts of that Monday or Tuesday or even Wednesday. Now, look at this. There's no more atmospheric rivers anymore at this point. What we're dealing with here is cold air and drier air. But I do still think we could see a chance for rain. But as I mentioned, if we were looking at the European forecast model, it'd be a different story. We'd be looking at that rain for all of those days. So here's the atmospheric river impact. This is something I've been showing you here the last several days. There have been signs over the last few days it's getting into the green, where when you get into atmospheric river category, and by the way, category 1 the weakest, category 5 the strongest. And if you get into category 2, once you get into that, there's that potential for flooding. There's the potential for mudslides, debris flows. But now the latest models are keeping us in the category 1 here for atmospheric river. What that means is good old-fashioned rain, my friends. Good old-fashioned rain. Nothing to worry about as far as flooding is concerned. Now, we'll still have to watch that because, again, it depends which model you look at. But at this point, I'm not terribly concerned about flooding. If we do, places along the coast, where we typically see some of that low-lying areas, could maybe see some flooding, minor flooding, but nothing major. So we'll have to keep watching this closely as the models begin to kind of come in here through the day today and, of course, tomorrow as well. Here's another lake levels here. We've actually dropped 1% here for Shasta. So yeah, it's been dropping slowly, but we're still over 120% for both Trinity and Oroville. Lake Oroville, that is. All right, so there's a look at the wave heights for today. Not an issue. Tomorrow, though, yeah, they're starting to climb a bit. Probably seeing a small craft advisory issued here for later this evening and into tonight, but just the patchy dense fog this morning. South winds at about 15 to 20 knots. All right, so here's a look at your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures in the mid-50s, give or take. And we're going to talk about the 7-day forecast in a bit more detail here when we're looking at Chico and Redding. Okay, but just note that it's starting Friday, and then once we open that door for the rain to move in and snow to move in on Friday, off and on chances for rain through the weekend and through next week for everyone. All right? Just be aware of that, and we'll talk about it in more detail here in a second. You'll see words like AM. What does that mean? We'll get into that here, right? But temperatures in the low 50s along the coast for today. 56 degrees in Hoopa, 58 degrees in Willow Creek. For Siskiyou County, we've got 53 degrees in Fort Jones, 51 in Weed, 49 for McLeod, 46 degrees in Doris. Let's take out to Modoc County with 48 degrees for Tule Lake, 51 in Canby, 55 degrees for Alturas, and Aden, about 51 degrees. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast. Temperatures 40s and 50s, 55 degrees for Paradise, 49 degrees for Janesville. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamith Painting. Temperatures once again in the upper 50s for your daytime highs. Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Chico. Let's talk about this in a bit more detail. So again, as I mentioned, it'll be dry today. Friday, you'll see the rain. It'll turn over to scattered showers, though, by the second half of the day. Saturday, I think you'll see rain through most of the day. Sunday, another batch of rain comes in. Now, look at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You've got the clouds, but no rain, right? What's that all about? Well, this is where the forecast models diverge big time. As I mentioned, European forecast model would have just rain all day long for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The GFS, the American forecast model, off and on chances. And really, for the most part, not much rain at all for Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So that's one of those things where it's a stay tuned type of forecast. I don't want you to think that these 3 days aren't going to see any rain, because they will. But just how much, that's the big question mark that's out there right now. There you can see 58 degrees for Redding today, dry of course, 58 degrees for Bella Vista and Cottonwood and Red Bluff, 54 in Whiskeytown, and 55 for Lakehead. So once again, we take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding. All right, so you notice we didn't have AM in there for Chico, but we do for Redding. That's because I think most of the rain for Redding on Saturday will be in the morning, and then as we saw in Futurecast, it pushes to the south, and by midday, you're pretty much dry, with maybe even some clearing skies. Now Sunday, better chance for rain, and there it is on Monday, just like I was talking about in Chico. It depends on which model you look at, will depend on the amount of rainfall you see. So this is why I was saying earlier, my 7-day forecast is going to look different than any 7-day forecast you see anywhere else. But the thing is, I cannot in good conscience just say, boom, it's going to rain every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're done with. Because there are possibly days you don't see a drop of rain for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then there are days that you may see rain. Again, it's all about, we talk about this with the forecast models. You say, well, why can't you just pick one? Well, because I just want to be completely transparent with you. That's the bottom line. Sometimes the tools that we're using aren't working properly and they have disagreements. And that's where it gets really tricky when it comes to that forecast. So stay tuned. But it looks like, again, what you can really count on at this point is rain coming in tonight through the day on Friday. And then the weekend and really even through next week, we'll be fine-tuning that forecast as we get closer because hopefully the models start coming into better alignment. Well, that's your morning update. I'll be back again at noon with the latest forecast model data. And of course, we'll have another update at 6 o'clock this evening. Have a great day.
Caltrans is doing the best that they can with the amount of people and the amount of equipment they have, and they're out there trying to keep the roads safe and trying to keep everybody running, because if the roads shut down, truck drivers that are paid by the miles aren't making any money. So we want everybody to put chains on for the safety of themselves and the safety of the public. It's not worth it to drive without chains.